All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we are taking a deep dive into Buddhist mindfulness.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at 5 secrets of
Yeah,
Buddhist mindfulness and really breaking it down.
exactly. We're going way past
Right.
just, like the buzzword mindfulness.
Yay.
We're going to see how these principles can really, change how we live our lives,
Yeah.
you know, day to day.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just like adding something to your to-do list, right?
Totally.
It's about shifting your whole perspective. It's a different way of being, really.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most powerful things that this source highlights is the idea of being present,
Mm-hmm.
like truly present in the moment,
Yeah.
without judgment, accepting it as it is.
Right.
But that sounds so easy.
Right.
But how do we actually do that? Our minds are going crazy all the time, right?
Right. Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
practice for sure. And it's really about recognizing those judgments when they come up.
Okay.
So for example, imagine you're having a cup of tea. And instead of thinking this tea is too hot or I wish it was stronger, you just notice it.
Right.
You notice the warmth of the mug in your hand, the smell, the taste.
Yeah.
That's what being present is.
So it's like shifting from evaluating to just observing.
Exactly. And when you do that, you can find so much joy in just the simple things.
Mm.
And that joy is always available, even when things are hard.
Yeah. It's like those times when you're so absorbed in something you love.
Yes.
Time just flies by and you're just completely there.
You're in the flow.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that peace, it doesn't depend on what's happening outside of you.
Right.
It comes from within. And that's really what cultivating inner peace is all about.
Okay. So it's not about chasing happiness through things or achievements.
Right.
It's about finding that stillness inside no matter what's going on around you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then how do we tap into that stillness? What's the secret?
Well, one of the things that Buddhist mindfulness teaches is to approach everything with what they call non-reactive awareness.
Non-reactive awareness. Okay.
Yeah, it's like watching a storm from a distance. You see the lightning, you hear the thunder,
Yeah.
but you're not caught up in it.
Right.
You have this space between you and what's happening,
Okay.
and that space allows you to stay grounded.
Yeah. I love that image. And it makes me think about how often we just get swept up in our reactions to things.
All the time.
Stress about work, traffic,
Mhm.
worrying about the future.
Right, and a lot of those reactions come from resisting how things actually are.
Hmm.
And Buddhist mindfulness, it really encourages us to embrace impermanence.
Okay, impermanence. So that's the idea that everything changes.
Yeah. Everything is in constant flux. Nothing stays the same. And when you really get that, it can be a huge relief.
Okay, but how is that freeing?
Well, think about it this way. When you know that both the good and the bad times won't last forever, it helps you let go of that need to control everything.
Hmm.
You can ride the waves of life with more ease because you know that even the most beautiful sunset eventually fades away.
Right. Yeah, that shift in perspective can definitely change how we deal with tough situations.
Totally.
Speaking of letting go, this source also talks about detaching from our thoughts, which seems pretty impossible.
It's definitely a practice,
Yeah.
but it's one that can really transform your experience. Buddhist mindfulness teaches that our thoughts, they're not us. They're just passing events,
Okay.
like clouds moving across the sky. You see them, but you don't need to grab onto them or let them define the whole sky.
So instead of identifying with every thought that comes up, we just notice it.
Yes.
Just
that is.
observe it.
And that creates some space between you and your thoughts so you can choose how you want to respond.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering that mindfulness is not just this inward journey.
Right.
Because this source also emphasizes cultivating compassion for others.
Absolutely. Mindfulness helps us see other people more clearly. It helps us see their struggles, their joys.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to greater empathy and connection. And there's this beautiful concept in Buddhist teachings called loving kindness or metta.
Yeah.
And it's about extending that warmth and understanding to all beings, even the difficult ones.
Wow. So that's powerful. How do we bring that compassion into our everyday lives?
Well, it starts with mindfulness itself. The more present you are, the less reactive you are, the more sensitive you become to what other people are going through.
Oh.
You begin to see their humanity.
So mindfulness, it's not just about personal growth.
Um,
It really affects how we connect with everyone around us.
It ripples outwards.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this source also mentions a really practical tool for cultivating mindfulness, and that's breath awareness.
Ah, yes. The breath, it's such a powerful anchor to the present moment.
Yeah.
Whenever you notice your mind wandering, Just gently bring your attention back to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the air moving in and out.
It's like a reset button for your attention.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the easier it gets to access that calm, focused state.
That's great.
It's a simple practice, but it can make a big difference.
Okay, so last but not least, this source talks about letting go of expectations,
Yes.
which honestly sounds amazing, but also a little scary.
It can be both. It's about releasing that need to control how things turn out.
Yeah.
It's about being open to what is, rather than clinging to how you think things should be.
So it doesn't mean giving up on your goals.
Not at all. It just means approaching them with more flexibility.
Okay.
Allowing for adjustments along the way.
So it's about finding that freedom right now.
Yes. It's like, imagine holding onto a rope really tightly. It creates a lot of tension.
Right.
But when you let go, you can relax and flow with whatever comes.
Wow. This deep dive into Buddhist mindfulness has been so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
It's been my pleasure.
I really encourage everyone listening to try out some of these practices.
Yeah, see what happens.
See what you discover. Mindfulness, it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
Be kind to yourself along the way. See you next time.
See you later.